tell the story, nobody will notice. So in this community, they're worried. In that community, they're worried that, but they're thinking, I'll tell a story and nobody will care. And in the other community, they're saying, if you tell a story, everybody will care.
Yeah.
This expression of the unseen wall. I borrowed that from George Keener, who was so great. He told me, there's this invisible wall that separates the two cultures. And he said, well, I have no idea what we're going to do to break down that wall. And I see that wall, now that he's told me about it, I see it there all the time. Everywhere you go, you're banging up against this invisible wall.
That's right, yeah. And it's self-preservation or protection of some sort, whether there's words to it or not, but you feel it.
Yeah.
There's something there, and it's like a cellular memory of the survivors of smallpox and the genocide.
Absolutely.
All the effects are still playing out.
Intergenerational trauma.
It's
there.
Until you address it.
Yeah.
Now the elders didn't address it because they're so shell-shocked by the smallpox that probably with the missionaries saying, well, we told you God was going to punish you for all that stuff you believe in, like the totem poles and this and that, and God has now punished you. So the survivors are going to be like, I'm not saying anything. Hands up. And that silence was there, and it's still there to this day. People don't talk about it.
It sometimes takes a long time for me to establish trust. I've heard talking about it. There's a community where they have a fellow whose job is to look after the spirits of the smallpox people. Right. I know who he is, and he knows who I am, but we haven't talked about what he does. Yeah. One day, he's going to phone me up about 10, 11 o'clock at night. And he'll say, have I got a story for you?
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. It takes forever to feel comfortable discussing this.
Yeah. Yeah. And
talking earlier when we were talking before about other work that's still coming out of this, like possible documentary stuff, or...
We're working on a documentary film. And this presentation will be the background. It's going to be this presentation that made as a documentary film. This is the backbone of the script. Will be sort of what you saw.
I definitely think it needs greater, just because, as a white person who grew up in not primarily, but originally a Native community, we do get that really washed over kind of, it was pretty much empty and they were all savages sort of thing. And then there they are, sitting in your classroom and you're like, this is really weird. And I feel like if we were taught this story, it's shocking and it's terrifying. And nobody who, has an integral moral center can't look at that and say, that's disgusting. It is disgusting. And I think if you get it out there, more people will realize that, and just with the information, they'll no longer be able to stand on, the concepts of their own superiority or whatever.
One would hope.
Yeah, one would hope.
We're in the position of, if you look at it legally, we are in the position of immigrants here. We're in the position of the bona fide purchaser of a bounty. We're the innocent purchaser of stolen goods. And the government has marketed this fraudulent story to us. And while we're not victims in the sense that Native people are, these people are also victims. And there was a Native elder who I was going to write to. She had seen my story a couple times. And she said, she said, not the Native people, but these other people are going to learn that they're victims. And they have to turn. They can't do anything themselves. They've got to turn to the government to fix this somehow. So they'll need aftercare, just like many Native people should, because they're going to discover that they were lied to, and that they were lied to consistently and throughout, and that they've been sold, they've been taken advantage of, they're victims of fraud. Now the healthy mind, when you find your victim of fraud, you want to give it back. You want to give it back. And your remedy is against the person who committed the fraud. Your remedy is not against the people from whom it was stolen in the first place. Right? This is what the healthy person says. I want to give it back. I want to make it right. Because that person is innocent. And I'm innocent. And the person who should pay is the person who perpetrated the fraud on them and on us. And so that's why there's a unity, really, between the native people who were victimized and the subsequent purchasers who were victimized. And so the government will always try to drive a wedge between those two groups. And if you follow the prosperity mine stuff up in the potential government this year, you'll notice that how frequently the tactic came to drive a wedge between the native community and the people who supported them. And there was a continual attempt to drive this wedge between them.